Our 3 boys have a primary diagnosis of mitochondrial disease and a secondary diagnosis of eosinophilic esophagitis. The eosinophilic disease makes their body react allergic to all but 2 foods, potatoes and apples, and the mito leaves them unable to turn food into energy to make their organs function. So far, their GI tracts and their hearts are affected the most, but eventually every organ in their body will lose function. Aidan and Colin were very ill from their preterm birth on. Even in the NICU, they were much sicker than normal preemie issues. Ethan was diagnosed after his brothers were, as he had self-eliminated down to eating almost no foods and was extremely malnourished from the pain that eating caused. We are very blessed to have found answers, especially on the nutrition side, so early, as most children die within the first 5 years of being diagnosed with mito. The boys have had more than 47 combined surgeries so far, been hospitalized over 5 times, 3 being very serious, and now Aidan goes monthly to the hospital for IV fluids. We referred the boys to Make-A-Wish ourselves after having friends and doctors suggest it. Our pediatrician had suggested it as well, and she did all the paperwork when contacted by Make-A-Wish. We waited till the boys were old enough to express their own wishes, but we didn't want to wait until they were too ill to enjoy their wish. We also had to work it around my husband's deployment schedule and our military life. Make-A-Wish was great at flexing for us when we had to change things around, and we were so blessed with the timing of their wish trips. My husband deployed weeks after returning from Colin's wish trip. The time together as a family during his wish gave us strength to get through this last deployment. The boys' Make-A-Wish volunteers, Marianne and Susan, were so amazing at granting their wishes. I think we stumped them a bit, as usually the wish granters bring a party along when they come to discuss the wish with the child. And again, when they bring your packet just before you leave on your trip. The no foods really stumped them, but they were wonderful and showed up with tons of linens for the boys, and the boys loved it. Aidan had many wishes, but one he's asked over and over for years is to learn how to surf. He loves the water and seems to come alive when he's in the ocean. He has sighed in content and said, "I can't breathe without my ocean," many times before. Ethan loves Legos and is so creative with them. He wanted to meet a master builder and would love to create 4 Legos someday. Ethan and Aidan surprised us all by Googling and figuring out there's a Legoland in California, and they put 2 and 2 together and combined their wishes so that they could go to Legoland and learn to surf, but also see family. Colin wished to do Jedi training at Walt Disney World because one of his best friends from Center for Courageous Kids 2 feeding camp told him all about it, and he loves lightsaber fighting with Dad. We found out shortly before the boys' wish trips that Jeff had received orders to Fort Lewis, Washington, to a unit that would deploy shortly after he arrived. We never would have planned 2 trips for this time frame had we known that he was about to leave. But yet we also knew that we wanted to do the boys' wishes while they were well enough to still enjoy them, and while Jeff was able to join us. It was the first time we'd flown with the boys in years, and I was very nervous about it. The week before we left, they came down with strep and were very sick. I almost canceled because we would never travel with them in that condition. Our pediatrician said to go, relax, and enjoy. Sick boys are not, and she was so right. The boys were very excited and spent a lot of time planning out what they wanted to see and do when we arrived. Ethan and Aidan's wish trip took place last July when we all flew to San Diego, California. We enjoyed an amazing week with perfect weather in Southern California. The volunteer who met us at the airport was incredible, and she had the most creative signs for each boy made out of Legos and a surfboard. The Hyatt had already unpacked the boys' chips, which were sent ahead, and decorated baskets in our rooms for them. Legoland was lots of fun, and Ethan enjoyed the afternoon spent with the master builder in the behind-the-scenes workshop. Their Lego organization was amazing, and he surprised each child with a Darth Maul minifig that they couldn't buy in stores. Surfing day was chilly and gray, but Aidan was so excited. We all got to suit up and go out. The instructors were amazing. Aidan really did stand up on the board his first time out, and the kids had a blast. I think we bummed out the instructors as the boys were cold and exhausted in less than an hour, which is completely normal for them, but it was one of the best hours of Aidan's life. He commented later that he felt free. After a week of exploring in Southern California, we headed north to see family. We were able to spend time with all 19 cousins, aunts, uncles, and grandparents. It was overwhelming at times for the boys, but they made friends for life with our siblings' kids that they hadn't even met yet. Colin's trip was in October on fall break. This was such a relaxing family vacation after a few very stressful weeks. Jeff was able to get his orders extended so he could join us, but he literally left for Washington the day after we returned. The entire wish trip experience was simply amazing. Give Kids the World was so wonderful. The boys felt so normal and free there. They loved the other kids in the pool looked just like them with feeding tubes. Disney bent over backwards to take care of us when we were there and simply made the magic happen. We were so humbled and honored when, after asking for a meet and greet with Darth Vader so we could take a photo and being told we'd have to come back later in the day, they immediately made it happen when they realized it was for a wish trip and that Colin wasn't feeling well enough to stay the rest of the day. Universal Studios took our breath away. We asked if Colin could meet the superheroes and take a photo with all of them together. The behind-the-scenes employees had us wait in their backstage area, and then they had all of the superheroes ride in after their public session to greet just our family. They had security literally form a human wall to block off any onlookers, and we waited as the superheroes rode up one at a time and got off their bikes to walk up and hang out with us. I tried to rush the kids around for a picture so that we didn't interrupt their day, and they stopped me and said, "No, we're here to hang out as long as Colin wants." They joked with the kids, laughed with the boys, and they just simply hung out like our kids were the rock stars that day, not them. Then they took a million photos with us. And the best part, as we were leaving, Spider-Man came up to Colin, shook his hand, and said, "Hold on." And then he leapt up in the rafters and hung upside down over Colin's head for one last photo. Made his day. These wishes meant time together as a family, time to relax, time to laugh, time to have fun without the normal day-to-day stress. Time to not think about pending moves and deployments and surgeries and foods they can't eat and energy they just don't have. Time to not worry about what happens the next time they get sick. Simply time to be a family and have fun. It gave us hope that we could vacation again, not just for hospital trips. It's scary to spend money planning a vacation when you don't know if you'll have to cancel because your kids get sick. It gave us strength as a family to get through the many changes that were about to take place. It filled us with joy to hear the boys say things like, "This is ridiculous," "Best day ever," and "I may look calm on the exterior, but inside I'm freaking out." Simply put, we had an amazing time and have been blessed beyond measure by Make-A-Wish and their incredible, incredible volunteers. These 3 wishes had a huge impact on our family. Over the last couple of years, the focus for our family and our boys has shifted from the medical side and getting a specific diagnosis and learning all the answers to living life to the fullest and enjoying all that the boys are able to do now while they're still able and feeling well enough to do it. We really thought we were going to lose Aidan in January 2011, and it was scary, very scary. Since then, we've embraced the realities before us and have decided to just enjoy what we are able. Make-A-Wish gave us the confidence again to step outside our home boundaries and take more adventures with the boys. They gave us courage as a family to travel and leave the safety of home and be near our hospital again. They gave us strength and amazing memories to help us smile throughout the last 8 months while Jeff was deployed to Afghanistan and the kids and I were home in Kentucky. Each time Jeff is gone, something new medically happens, and this time is no different. Aidan's begun at least monthly hospital visits for IV fluids and monitoring. It's been so great for him to be able to talk about his wish trip and how much fun he had learning to surf with the nurses instead of them just feeling sad for him and wanting to ask about his problems. The wishes gave us comforting memories of time together to hold on to all year while Jeff was gone. Having traveled to the West Coast and to Florida with the boys for 2 trips, it gave me the confidence to pack the family up and head west. Yes, drive 2,700 miles this summer so that we could welcome Jeff home from deployment when he arrived back in Washington 2 months early. I knew that we'd traveled this year so we could make it through yet one more trip, and we did. It has given us the confidence to feel calm in the midst of more changes heading our way in the next few weeks and months. As Colin has medical procedures next week, Aidan has a big hospital appointment, and we have other changes coming on the horizon. We are so grateful for all that Make-A-Wish has done for us that we wanted to give back as well. Jessica, a Make-A-Wish program manager, asked us in the fall if we knew of any way to help grant a Soldier for a Day wish. I was able to put her in touch with Colonel Ed Box of 3rd Recruiting Brigade of Youth Rec at Fort Knox. He put together a simply incredible 3-day wish for a teenager from Belgium who was suffering from painful bone cancer who wanted to be a U.S. soldier. Colonel Box works together with nearly every command on Fort Knox to create an amazing wish itinerary for Antoine and his family. If I could just have Colonel Box stand for just a minute so that we can thank him for all that he did. so blessed during our wish trip by photographer friends who came and took pictures of our surfing day and family portraits when we got together with all of our family, that I volunteered to help out and take photos for Antoine's family so that Mom and Dad could relax and participate as well. I honestly think I found as much, if not more, joy watching Antoine and his family experience the magic of his wish being granted as I did on our own boys' wish trips. It was an amazing experience to participate in working with others that make that young man's heartfelt wish come true, and to watch the tears and emotions on his mother's face as she enjoyed that once-in-a-lifetime experience with her precious son. I realized even more then what an amazing gift a wish is. Thank you, Make-A-Wish, for all that you've given our family and so many others. You have truly blessed us.